5 most common patterns. So we've got the what's our most common hand pattern?
Well, obviously 4-4-3-2.
Yes, and it happens almost a quarter of the time, so we're pretty used to seeing those hands. And those are hands we also know because we play a 5-card major system. We have to usually open those one of a minor, kind of no matter what the 4s and the 3s and the 2s are. Next most common is 5-3-3-2, 16% of the hands. And then a little surprising to me, the next most common hand pattern is 5-4-3-1. And then 5-4-2-2, and then 4-3-3-3. And so of these patterns, the 3 of them are the balanced patterns. Those I have marked in the blue. And so what do those percentages add up to?
49.
49. So yeah, that shows us that the balanced hands, we normally have balanced hands half of the time, and we have unbalanced hands half of the time. And then of the unbalanced ones, we have that yellow one there, the 5-4-2-2, that's really the semi-balanced. That's 11% of the time. So really the truly unbalanced hands are just 40% of the time. And then of the 5 most common patterns, there's only one truly unbalanced, the 5-4-3-1. And if you don't show the other patterns on here, but if you have a singleton, it is 50% of the time it's a 5-4-3-1. So if you have a singleton, that is far and away the most common pattern with a singleton. And we talk about hand patterns because counting is important in bridge, but it is for most people pretty much impossible just to count every card or quantity of every suit. But by thinking in terms of patterns, it gives us a framework to track what's going on at the table without having to memorize as much detail. Like if we can memorize these patterns or the common patterns, and we can identify what the patterns are for our hand, what's the pattern for dummy, and then if we see a singleton in one of the opponents, think it is most likely 5-4-3-1. These kinds of things will help us, give us a framework for tracking what's going on around the table without having to do always adding up to 13 or subtracting from 13, which is a hard number to work with. And so these patterns also come into 2 ways. So we talk about these as hand patterns. So 5-3-3-2 might be how many cards we have in each suit in our hand. But these are also the distributions of suits around the table. So somebody, if you talk about spades, somebody may have 4, another person 4, another has 3, then the last person has 2. And if you're able to keep those patterns in mind for the suits, when you're watching somebody discard on a suit, you don't necessarily have to add up or subtract from 13 if you can then determine the pattern it must be based on what you've seen so far. So if we look at some examples here, here's an example hand, and we look at the north hand, what's the pattern for north here?
5-4-2-2.
5-4-2-2. Right, and that's our 4th most frequent one, the semi-balanced. And then for and that's it. So for east, we've got 5-4-3-1. And that's our most common unbalanced hand by a long shot. 5-4-3-1 again for south. And then our semi-balanced again for west, just as examples. So then let's take a look at some patterns here. 4-4-3-2, and see how quickly we can tell what's the missing one here. So if I look at this, then it's 2 that we're missing, right? And if we look here, what are we missing? It'd just be 4. And here we're missing the 3. And if we look at a 5-3-3-2, we can do the same thing. If we know that suits are divided 5-3-3, we should know that the last hand has 2 without having to do any math. Same thing, if we see a 5 and 3 and 2 in the different hands, 3 must be the last one. You guys know these, so I'm going to motor through these faster. 4-4-3-1, if you see, or 5-4-3-1, if you see 5-4-3, you should know that 1 is the missing one here. If you see something divided 4-3-1, there must be 5, is what the other one started with. So in the 5-4-2-2, same thing. 5-2, and the 4-3-3-3, same idea. We can tell what those are. So, but then if we go here, let's see. So what has to be the first number here? What's the missing number?
5.
Right. And here?
3.
Yeah. And here?
3.
Yeah. And here?
2.
2.
And here?
1.
Yeah. And here?
4.
Yeah. So that's the idea. You want to have those things be kind of automatic patterns. You don't want to look at something like this and say, okay, 5 and 4 is 9 and 3 is 12. That means there's 1 left. You want to really think 5-4-3-1. That's a pattern I know. It's one of my 5 most common patterns.
So you can do that without doing the math, adding up to 13?
That's what we want you to do. We want you to recognize these numbers here. You've heard, we say 4-4-3-2 a lot, 5-3-3-2 a lot, and we talk about the 4-3-3-3 as being balanced. If you can memorize these 5 patterns here, that will account for the majority of hands that you play. So what does this add up to? This is 60% of the hands are one of these 5 patterns. And so the idea is to memorize these in the same way that we talk about point count. We know that if we have ace, king, queen, and jack, that's 10 high card points. We don't have to add the 4 plus the 3 is 7, plus the 2 is 9, plus the 1 is 10. We have just memorized that ace, king, queen, jack is a 10. And that king, queen is a 10. We've recognized those often enough that they're just in memory. And so we want to memorize these patterns so that we don't have to do math for any of these combinations. I'm going to make more of these kind of the second half of this where it's random ones thrown around where you have to try and come up with what's the missing number. But just by doing drills like this or flashcards, it'll make it so that you don't have to, it's not so hard for your memory and it's not so hard on your brain keeping track of who had how many cards where. Okay, so let's see. So I wanted to talk about 2/1 basics. We're going to go through this pretty quick, so I think you both are pretty on top of this. 2/1 are natural responses, and they promise opening values and are forcing the game. And when we say they're natural, one of the things that comes up if a partner opens a heart and we've got 4 spades and 5 clubs, we're going to bid 2 clubs there rather than showing our spades first because we're bidding our long suit first. The natural bidding says bid your longest suit first. But if we had, let's say, 5 spades and 4 clubs, and partner opens a heart, we're not going to bid 2 clubs just to make a 2/1 bid. We're going to bid our spade because the bidding our long suit first is the natural way of doing it. So we don't force 2/1 bids. We don't fabricate 2/1 bids. We just know that if it's our natural bid, it needs to have game forcing, it needs to have an opening hand, and it is forcing to game. If our natural bid, we don't have enough points for it, we have to use the forcing no trump. So after a major suit opener, a 1 no trump shows 6 to 12 points. And it doesn't affect other bidding. And then distinction, usually a 5-card suit, but can be done with 4, rarely 3. But 1 spade, 2 hearts promises 5 hearts specifically, just like in standing. It is off if there's competition with a double or an overcall.
But if you have 5-5 in a major and a minor, you bid the major, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 5-5 in anything will bid the higher ranking. So openers rebid. We show our shape without regard to strength. And so we'll rebid a suit with a 6-card suit. We'll bid a new suit with a 4-card suit. Even if it's a reverse, we don't need extra points to make a reverse after a 2/1 raise or 2/1 response. And if we don't have a 6-card suit and we don't have a 4-card suit on the side, that means we're balanced hand. And so we can bid 2 no trump, which is usually 12 to 14, but could be the 18 to 19. Or we can jump to 3 no trump, which shows 1 no trump opener, which is kind of necessarily a semi-balanced hand because we didn't open 1 no trump to begin with. We can also choose to raise responder. And if we do a jump, we don't usually do jumps unless it's to a new suit, in which case it would be a splinter bid.
So Rick, I have a question on this. I've read cases where some people advocating jump to 4 of a major when you have a minimum opener, but a like 7-card suit. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, if you have like if you have 7 spades or something and
Yeah, like 7
minimum
spades
hand.
and 12 high card points.
I think that could be okay.
Hmm.
I don't mind though going slow. I suppose it would depend really on the hand. If I really felt it was spades only, like if I had nothing in partner's suit that they bid, I might do that.
Okay.
Partner's unlimited though, so it could backfire a little bit, but that's probably fine. That's fine. Another thing is, some people play a style of 2/1 where a rebid of your suit does not promise 6. It's
Yeah,
just
I've seen that on BBO bots. It's like the default
right,
response where nothing really else nothing jump out.
right, and so the robots and people playing that system usually do not bid 2 no trump without stoppers in the 2 unbid suits. That's the reason for that. But I recommend your rebid of your suit shows 6 and your 2 no trump bid does not promise stoppers. It's just showing shape. So how can responder tell if your 2 no trump bid is 12 to 14 or 18 to 19?
Well, that's going to be a third bid if it's 18 to 19.
Right. What often happens over the 2 no trump rebid by openers, responder bids 3 no trump, and then opener will bid 4 no trump if they have the 18 to 19.
What if they bid 4 clubs?
If who bids 4 clubs?
Opener for Gerber.
It would not be Gerber because it is not a jump.
Gerber always has to be a jump,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
but a single jump, whereas a splinter would be a double jump.
No, it's a jump over a no trump bid.
A jump. Oh,
Yeah, like
okay.
one no trump, 4 clubs, or 2 no trump, 4 clubs. Or
But three no trump, 4 clubs is not Gerber.
that's right. And you can also have 1 club, 1 heart, 1 no trump, 4 clubs would be Gerber. So a no trump rebid, but it's still a jump. But it's a jump over the previous bid of some number of no trump. The other rule for Gerber is it's never Gerber. So that is played by many experts to avoid confusion, but the simpler it's simple enough to say it's only over a no trump. The last bid was no trump, and it's a jump to 4 clubs.
Okay.
And so the idea is that if you have the 12 to 14, you pass when game is reached. If you had the 18 to 19, you make some other bid. And that's going to show that you're the 18 to 19.
Is this strictly 18 to 19 or could be like 18 to 21?
Well, with 20 or 21, you'd have opened 2 no trump.
But with a hand that's probably, you know, not, you don't really want to open 2 no trump for the same reason you're bidding 2 no trump here after rebid.
Yeah,
Like-
but if you had that many points and you didn't want to open 2 no trump, you'd open 2 clubs.
Okay.
For the most part. So normally it means that specific range, and yeah, that's the textbook definition of that bid.
Okay, and this 2 no trump bid applies only over a 2/1 game force, not over,
That's right.
right, not over the
A forcing no
forcing
trump,
one no
because
trump.
the 2 no trump rebid over a forcing no trump shows the 18 to 19.
Repeat that?
If you open a spade and partner did a forcing no trump,
Yeah.
a 2 no trump rebid by opener shows 18 to 19.
Okay, okay.
Because we don't normally raise partners no trump because they may not have a balanced hand or anything. So normally we'll bid 2 of a minor to let them further describe their responder's hand. But in a hand where we open a suit and we would have jumped to 2 no trump, on our second bid over a forcing no trump, we still bid 2 no trump, and it's got the same meaning.
Got it.
Okay, and then we have fast arrival here. 1 spade, 2 hearts, 2 no trump, 4 spades by responder. That shows I've got 3 spades and a minimum game forcing hand. So that's our fast arrival. That we made a game forcing bid, and then we jumped to game. And if we had just gone 1 spade, 4 spades, that would be a preemptive jump to game, less than an opening hand. If we did 1 spade, 2 hearts, 2 no, 3 spades here, that's going to show 3 card spades with slam interest, 16 or more points. And here's an example of that. So if partner opens a spade, and as for dummy points, we've got what, 17? So we would start with 2 hearts, set up a game force, 2 no trump by partner. We bid 3 spades, showing 3 card support with slam interest.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
I was reading that implied fit. What, I don't understand what that thing is saying.
So the when it goes 1 spade, 2 hearts, you're showing a 5 card heart suit. 2 no trump is showing a 2 card heart support.
Okay.
Because you would have, with 3 hearts, you would have raised hearts. And with the singleton heart, you're not balanced, so you wouldn't bid 2 no trump. So the 2 no trump is promising exactly 2 hearts. So with the 6 card suit, responder can bid either 3 hearts or 4 hearts.
Okay,
Knowing that there's a fit, that's the implied fit, even though it hasn't been explicitly bid by opener. And so 4 hearts is the fast arrival and 3 hearts is the slam interest.
okay.
And what they're saying here also is 1 spade, 2 hearts, and then a 3 heart versus 4 hearts by opener. Opener can do fast arrival also with a minimum opener with support for responder suit. And 3 hearts would normally show extra values.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so let's do some shark here.
So are we waiting for you to put something in the chat to log on, or do we go back to the email?
Either one, I can put it in here.
I can go back to the email. Okay, I'm logging into Shark.
I see you there. Do you need the link, Tony? Okay, we should be good to go.
Okay.
And so this all looks great. So Linnea, what do you think your partner has for key cards?
I think he has 3 aces of spades, hearts, and diamonds.
He bid 5 hearts there, right?
Oh, no, he has 2 aces and no queen of spades. That's right. Okay, sorry.
Which are his 2 aces?
He's got the ace of hearts, and I'm not sure what the other one is.
He should be. So what did his 4 heart bid tell you?
That he had either the ace or the king of hearts.
And what about diamonds?
Oh, he skipped diamonds, so yes, he's got to have the ace of spades.
Right. I'm just pointing out that you have enough information to tell exactly what his
Yes.
cards are.
Yes, you're right.
All right, good job. And is there a way that you might have gone down on this hand?
Well, I don't know. Let me just think about that. I suppose if the clubs had been 5-1, that then I would go down.
I don't, yeah, possibly, but I'm saying just the way they are, you played it right. Is there a way you could have played it differently that would have been your downfall?
Well, if I'd taken the ace of spades off the board first.
That's right. And so what's the rationale for starting with the ace or starting with the king?
If I start with the side that has 2 high honors, then if I have to finesse one way or the other, I have still both options open
Right, that's correct.
if somebody shows up.
Mm-hmm. And so that's just exactly the right thinking, and that's how you make your slam. In this hand, how many points does North have?
Uh, 14 high card and 2 length.
Right, so 16, and then how many does the South have as a dummy?
Um, 15 high card and 1 doubleton.
Right, so also 16, so 32 altogether, just barely enough. These are the kind of hands that if you don't play 2/1, they're very hard to find your slam because you cannot make that 3-spade bid because you're not in a game forcing situation. So there's no way to agree on trump and keep the auction going. So this is a great 2/1 sort of situation. All right, let's go to the next deal here. I moved you guys to east-west.
I can't claim?
I have to
Oh,
accept.
okay.
That was on another screen. Okay, so that looks good. This is another classic example for why 2/1 works well. In standard bidding, the 2-no trump by West is non-forcing. But West knows that you want to be in game. And so West would have to decide whether to bid 3-no trump right off instead of 2-no trump, or whether to do something else. Forcing it may be a 3-diamond bid to hear about what else you have. It's just complicated. But in 2/1 with the game force, 2-no trump is the perfect bid. It lets each show the 5-5 in the majors, and so West can go to 4 hearts. 3-no trump, you'd be in trouble on a diamond lead because they'd wind up, I think, taking 4 diamonds and a spade or 2.
So Rick, I have a question with this kind of hand.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at it, as long as spade is 4-2, no worse than 4-2, it's pretty straightforward. But should I try to place a percentage of guarding against a 5-1 by only drawing 1 round of trump?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah, and so that's the thing to consider, because you can try to do a spade rough.
But to do that, you need to draw at most 1 of trump.
Right.
Is that a percentage worth thinking about?
I don't know, because I think you could get into trouble, because if they're 5-1, you have to lead 2 rounds of spades, and they're going to rough a spade.
But if they rough it, you can just pitch 1.
But they would be. It depends on when they do it, but if they rough one of your honors.
Yeah, like depending on which side rough. So yes, that is
Right.
that is the main danger. If whether it's the singleton is before or after you.
Right. So that's definitely a thing to consider. But 5-1 is also pretty unlikely. This, you can see what's our spade pattern here.
5-2, so it's more likely 4-2 or 3-3.
Yeah, well, and the way it is it's 5-4-2-2 around the table.
Right.
And remember that 5-4-2-2 is one of the big most common patterns. The 5-5-2-1 is much less likely.
And when I rebid the hearts, that shows 5, not 6, right?
Mm-hmm. That is correct. That is a time that rebidding shows only 5. It's a kind of a rare example of that.
Just for the record, I want to open Notron on this.
No.
So now that's a little confusing, but I'll take it as how I see that.
I will say that in 2/1, once a major suit has been agreed on, there's no changing it. So Linnea, what do you know about your partner's honors?
Okay, he does not have the ace of clubs.
Right.
So he's got 2 honors with the queen. So that means he's got the ace of diamonds, the ace of hearts, and the queen of hearts.
That's right. So I'm gonna,
Make Tony play it?
no, that's fine. This is fine. I think this is, yeah, we'll see what you do here. Yeah, let me do that. Let me swap you.
Okay.
All right, Tony, you're the declarer in North now. All right, good job. So what's your other choice besides trying to rough out the Queen of Spades?
Can always finesse with 50-50, but I can do that anyways at the end if I need to.
Right, you can do a diamond finesse at the end for 50-50.
Right.
So by trying to rough out the queen first, where will that fail?
If it's 5-1, basically.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Or, some very short space to at the beginning that could rough me on the second trick. Well, still, yeah, that means 5-1.
I'll be 5-1.
Yeah.
That's right. So again, what's the spade distribution at the table? 5-4-2-2. And that's one of our common distributions, and the 5-5-2-1 is one of the uncommon distributions. So that's a good way to approach that. And I think we go back here. So this is you, Tony.
I want to do that.
That's you're way too strong for that, though.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right.
I already know what I'm going to bid.
Uh-huh.
Well, maybe not.
Oh my goodness, somebody bid.
Yeah. Let me see if they were supposed to. Yes. Oh, the robots are behaving so well. So, okay.
Hmm.
This is where you should bid your suit again. Your suit is pretty good quality, even if your partner's got a singleton. It's
I'm debating that versus diamond, but I shouldn't think about diamond.
no.
Okay.
You don't know the quality of her diamond suit. You know the quality of your heart
It
suit.
should be a 5-card suit. And
Right. It could. She could have 5 diamonds. So
Well, Tony's thinking, let me ask you, if North had not bid 3 clubs, and Tony had passed, what should I have bid?
oh, for an opening bid.
Well, Tony bid 1 heart, then North said 2 clubs, and I said 2 diamonds, 2 no trump.
Right. Yeah. No. I know. Okay.
Suppose it went pass, then what should I have bid?
Over the 2 no trump pass.
Yes.
I would pass
Okay.
because you've already bid your hand, and South is showing the queen of diamonds, so that doesn't sound great. Yeah, that's not what you want to do there, because your diamond was not a loser.
yeah.
You're gonna wind up losing 2 hearts now, 2 more hearts.
Yeah, it's try to think had I played
So
had
go
I
ahead
actually
and
roughed
do
it
that
in
last
with.
trick. And rough that in your hand instead. Because you want to go back to your ace of diamonds and be able to lead your 2 of hearts. That's your only way to repeat your finesse.
So you know, had Norse, I'll just keep thinking about the cases if Norse is out of diamond, which is quite possible, and if I give Norse a ruff, what's going to happen?
Right, that is possible. But if you don't, you're going to give up a heart trick for sure, because you'll have to lead hearts out of your hand. So it's a question of maybe giving up a trick or for sure giving up a trick.
So then, with that in mind, should I just not bother with the spades anyways? Okay.
I agree. I would not, because I'd be worried that on the club, if maybe South might have been out of clubs and down to one diamond and might have pitched a diamond on that last club, and then let them rough your diamond so you can't get to dummy to lead through. Not very likely, but you might as well just go back to the ace of diamonds and.
Because the queen is basically marked. There's no
Right,
point trying to
exactly.
do it. Right.
So, and you know the ace and queen are still out, and so the ace is marked also.
Mm.
So if you wind up leading hearts out of your hand, you're going to for sure lose the queen of hearts. So you have to try and lead through there. Anyhow, this is another good example. This is a case where it's not 2/1. So let's talk about this though. You start with a heart. What if North had passed? What is East's bid?
1 no trump.
Yes. And what is West's bid?
2 heart.
2 hearts.
And then what is East's bid?
I think I'd pass.
Mm,
I could say
debatable.
3 hearts, I suppose.
No, 3 heart will show
11
like
or
a raise
12
hand
clubs.
again.
You don't have 11 or 12 though. So
Right.
I think passing 2 hearts is probably right.
But with the vulnerable gaming line, would East entertain a 3 diamond bid?
No, because your 2 heart bid is a limited bid.
Yep.
So if you have at most 15 points, I don't think the East has enough to look for game.
Yeah, basically the jack of clubs is worthless. And the doubleton is probably worthless because I've only got 2 hearts.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
With,
that leaves me with 8 points.
If the queen of diamonds were on side, I still don't know if you could make 4 hearts here.
But I might bid 2 hearts if instead of those 2 jacks, I had the queen of diamonds.
With the queen of diamonds, you might think about bidding 3 no trump. Wouldn't work out very well here, but.
No, no.
All right, well, that's all we have for today.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tony.
Good job. I'll be back next week.
All right, see you guys.
Later.
Yeah.